Hi guys, I've been playing around with some Pardo clay this last week or so. Well, yeah, about a week. And I've kind of steered away from it because I was always told or always heard that it's difficult to condition because it's so hard and it's hard on the hands, so people steer away from it. But I've been playing around with it, and if you just take some out of a block, obviously if it was really old clay, then yes, you might have trouble conditioning it, but that would be the same with any clay. So if you just slice through some, it cuts through real nice, no issues with cutting through it. Okay, but you can kind of break it into little pieces like this, and it does seem a little bit crumbly, but it's not rock hard, it's quite soft. Now, you just have to kind of condition it in a different way. If you were to take out a piece of Primo, for example, Primo's relatively soft. Unless you get an old piece, then it's hard. But let's just go with it's fresh clay. You can take your Primo out, you can cut a big chunk off, you can get your roller, pretty much go like that, and then pass it through the pasta machine, no issues. You can't do that with Pardo. It has beeswax in it, and it's been sitting in a box for a while. So it just needs some gentle TLC. And I think the best way to condition it, from what I've learned from reading about it and actually working with it myself, you've just got to take your time with it. So the process of conditioning it is longer, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's hard on the hands. So I found that, just to take smaller pieces at a time and gently play with it to warm it up, and that beeswax that's in there is warming up, and that's what's causing it to get softer. So when you've played around with it, I'm only showing you with a little tiny piece, but just to give you an idea, you can see I've not been trying to get it soft. I've just been gently playing with it, and it does soften up. Now, once you've got it to that stage, you can see it still looks a little bit crumbly in there, but it's a lot softer to play with now. So once you've got it to that stage, then is the time to get your roller. I won't on this because it's thin enough, but just say you've got a bigger piece, you just need to roll it out a little bit, and then pass it through your pasta machine. And I've also found that if you start at a higher, not higher, but thicker setting, and then gradually go down onto a thinner setting, and then bring it back up again, then you're going to get a really nice conditioned piece. So like I say, I've just quickly rolled it onto a number 2. Now I'm going to take it down to a 4. And you can see now it's pretty supple. And I'm just going to take it down to a 6. See, now it's pretty supple. I'm going to take it down to a 6, fold it and pass it through a few times. And then when you're happy with that, you can gradually start taking it back up to your thicker setting, or the setting that you want it to be on. Okay, so this is now at a number 4, and you can see it's really nice and supple. So just to put your minds at rest, if you were ever interested in trying Pardo, go for it. If you've got the patience, just to take your time with it. And you see it didn't take that long really, but you can't just wad it up into a ball, thump it down, give it a quick roll, and then try and pass it through. You've just got to play with it, massage it and warm up that beeswax. Now, I'm not going to get into all the scientific-y things about clay and Pardo in particular, but I will leave a link, and I know this is a long introduction, but I just wanted to cover that before I started with the tutorial. But I will leave a link to the Blue Bottle Tree, which is a website where Ginger writes all her articles and all her findings, everything and anything to do with polymer clay. So if you do have any further questions about this, you're better off asking her than asking me. I just know what I know so far, but she's got the answers to everything, and not just about Pardo. Everything you can think of about polymer clay, she's written an article. So whether it's about clay itself, or how to bake it, or how to condition it, which sealers are compatible, everything you can think of. Right, so I know that's a long introduction, but I just wanted to put that out there about this particular clay. And the other thing I will quickly say before I actually get on with the tutorial is that Pardo comes in different ranges, pretty much as Cernit does. So Cernit's got the translucent range, it's got the metallic range, it's got the pearl range. Pardo comes in ranges of mica. So for example, this is the mica from the mica range, and it's silver, and I've just shown you that. The mica actually shows up more once it's baked. It's not as shiny, let's say, as Cernit metallic or anything like that, but it does have mica powders in it. So that's the mica range, and it comes obviously in well, not obviously, but it comes in silver, gold, bronze and copper. I think that's it. Oh, and this one as well, platinum. So there's those mica clays. And then you've got the polymer, you've got the Pardo polymer clay range. Now, this range used to be called the jewellery range, and I'm assuming they called it the jewellery range because all of the colours represent a stone. So there you've got jade. This one's mother of pearl. And then you've got turquoise, etc. So that's the polymer clay range. It's just called polymer clay. And then you've got the Pardo Professional Art Clay. Now these come in quite a few different colours, but quite a few of them are actually primary colours, you know, like these two, red and blue. Well, this is actually called cyan, but you get the idea. So there's the opportunity to, you know, really play around with the primary colours and get your own colours. So there's that. It doesn't do anything different than the Pardo polymer clay, it's just a different range of colours. And it also comes in its own transparent section as well. So again, this is the professional art clay, but it also has some of the translucent colours. This one's, it says transparent on the packet, but it is translucent red, and there's a translucent orange, and a translucent pink, and so on. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and now I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using for the tutorial itself. And I just want to make sure I'm putting the right colours back, because I don't want to get them mixed up. So there's going to be quite a lot going on in this tutorial in terms of colours, because I am going to be using all of these. So I've got a couple of the mica clay ones, and I've got the platinum. It says platin on the front, but it's actually platinum. That's the German word for it. And this says silber, which is silver. So that's the mica ones that I'm using, and I'm also going to be using the translucent as well. Oh, and I'm also using the mica gold as well. Sorry guys, I left that one over there. And then I'm also going to be using a little bit of the mother of pearl as well, and turquoise, jade, amethyst, and this one, which I don't know how to pronounce, thulite. It's obviously named after a stone. I'm going to go with thulite, but I could be wrong. Okay, so they're the colours that I'm going to use, but I'm going to go off camera and condition them all. I'm not going to sit here and condition all these pieces. It would take too long and too much for you to watch. So that was just a quick intro about Pardo, and I'm going to go and prepare all my colours, and I'll be back. Alright, so I've conditioned the clay that I need to condition. So I've got 6 equal squares of translucent, and I used a 1.5 inch square cutter for that, rolled out onto a number 1 on my Atlas 150, 0 being the thickest setting, so it's the second thickest setting. So like I say, 6 equal squares of translucent. And then I've done the same thing, rolled onto a number 1, 6 equal squares of the platinum. Now what I'm going to do is pop the platinum on top of each of the translucent squares, like so. So that's that little section done. And then over here I've also got 2 more pieces of translucent, again equal size squares to the other ones, rolled onto a number 1, and the same size of the mother of pearl. Now the mother of pearl and the platinum, there isn't that much difference between the two. This is a little bit whiter in colour, so you could probably get away with using one or the other, but I've gone with that anyway. So mother of pearl on top of translucent. I'm just going to put those over there. And then I've also got my colours of clay that I'm going to use, and I'm also going to be using some mica powders. And do you know what I forgot to tell you? I'm going to be doing mother of pearl. Now I have already done a mother of pearl. It was my second video that I ever did, so it's over 2 years old now, and I did it in Primo. And I thought it would be perfect to try and do that again using Pardo. Now having said that, I'm not doing exactly the same as I did for my original, so there are some changes, but I just wanted to show you the translucent and some of the colours with Pardo, so I thought that would be a perfect thing to do. Anyway, I'm going to be doing the oyster mother of pearl though, not the abalone mother of pearl, so it's going to be on the lighter side of colours. And so you're going to need some mica powders. I've got this pearl mica powder. I get this from Amazon. It's called Stardust Micas, and that's the pearl one. And I've also got the one in copper. And then I've just got these cheapy mica powders. One in blue, one in violet, one in red, and one in a light green. So they're the mica powder colours that you'll need. And obviously I've got my cutters and everything ready to go. I got all of these from Joy Creations. I will list her shop in the description. So I think that's everything. And a brush, and then the usual standard blades. So I've got my translucent and my platinum squares like this. And I'm going to take each of the colours. So the first one is turquoise from the Polymer clay range. And I am putting a whisper, and I mean a whisper of colour in these. Now, I tried this several times, and I used a small amount in each time I tried it. This is so pigmented, so I had to like go even less, and I'm literally talking this, maybe just a fraction more. See, I'm just going to pop that there. It's a thin, tiny little slither off the corner of the clay, the block. That's all I'm doing, tiny amount. So that's the turquoise. And the other thing I love about Pardo is the little containers they come in. It's just so easy to store, and they're actually stackable as well, which I really do like that. That's much better than all the other clays that just come in, you know, the plastic wrap. And then the other colour I'm going to go with is the amethyst. Again, that's from the Pardo Polymer clay range. Same thing, tiny little slither, tiny piece from the corner of the block, and I'm popping that one on there. And then I'm going with this jade. Now this is a dark, very dark green, but I used it in my last batch that I tried and I really liked it, and I'm using so small amount that it doesn't come out that obvious. So again, tiny little piece. It's not even a pea size if you were to roll it in a ball. It's probably half a pea size, but you can see it's just a tiny little bit off the corner that I took off. And then this is the one that I can't pronounce, the Thulit. I think it's Thulite. I should probably go and Google it and see how you pronounce it, but I didn't. Alright, so let's call it a pink, a dark pink, and again, just a very corner, tiny corner. pop that on there. And I'm even a little bit nervous about maybe they'll come out too strong, but hopefully it won't, so we'll see. Now we've also got the mica from the mica range, the gold and the silver. Now I do want more of the silver. I like the oyster mother of pearl, where you do get that more silvery sheen to it, so I am going to take more of that. So I'm just going to go like this, so it's a thicker piece. I'm just going to ball that up so you can see, because I might want to add just a little bit more as well. So yeah, it's about a pea size, so I'm just going to go with a little bit more, so 1.5 pea sizes. That's a good little ball there, so that's going on there. I'm hoping that'll be enough. I think that'll be fine. Now this is the thing with making something like this. You try and get it as exact as you can, but it doesn't always work out that way. So fingers crossed. And I also want a little bit more gold than I did with the colours, but I don't want as much gold as I did with the silver. So let's just go about that much. Oops, this is a little bit crumbly. I'm just thinking, do I want it a little bit more? I think maybe just a little bit more of the gold as well. So I'm just going to take another little slice. So let's call it a pea size for the gold, not quite as much as the silver. Of course you could do the colours however you wanted. Obviously the more of the colour you put in, the more it's going to lean towards the abalone mother of pearl, but I'm trying to keep it more of a subtle look. Alright, so that's the colours plopped on there. Obviously they've all got to be mixed in. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'm going to go, or shall I put the mica powder on now and then? No, I think I put the mica powders on now. I changed my mind. I was going to go and roll these out. Now with the translucent and the mother of pearl, all I'm going to add on there, do you know what, guys? I'm not going to use the coloured mica powders. I've changed my mind. I'm just going to go with a little bit of copper and the pearl. Yes, I am. And the reason I grabbed those is because that's what I did in one of my versions, but the version I did yesterday, I didn't use them, and I've just remembered I didn't use them. I just used these two. You can if you want to. If you want to add a little bit more colour, you can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to take some of this pearl and rub it on each of these squares. Like this. And then I will roll them out, and if I need to add a little bit more powder, I will. But for now I'm just going to do this. Like that. Got a nice clean brush. And then I'm going to do, I'm trying to think what I did now, guys. Yeah, that's right, I added some of the copper onto this one as well. It's just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle. Not a great deal, just a little bit. And then just the, whoops, that's a bit too much. Just a bit of the white pearl on the other two pieces, the translucent and mother of pearl that doesn't have any colour in it. Alright, so you just slap on some mica powder, and you can put as much on as you want. The more you put on, the shinier it's going to be, which is fine. So I'm going to go and pass each of these through the pasta machine until they're thoroughly mixed, and I'll be back. So I've taken each of those squares and I've thoroughly mixed the colours into each of them, and I rolled them all out onto a number 3. Again, 0 being the thickest setting on my machine, so the 4th thickest setting. And you can see I'm a little bit concerned about the pink. I'm worried that I might have put just a fraction too much in, but we'll see how it goes. So that's that pink that I can't pronounce. That's the amethyst, and that's a lovely pale pastel colour now. And then we've got the turquoise, again nice and pastel, and the jade, which is a little bit darker, but I'm fine with that. The gold, the silver, which is not that silvery, but it works perfect in this. And then the two that were the mother of pearl and the platinum. And I did brush on a little bit more mica powder on each of them, and I'll just show you quickly how much. I literally just went like this and then just brushed it over and then mixed it in. So just a little tiny bit more in each, just to give it a bit more of a shimmer. Okay, so now we've just got to stack these then. It's as simple as that, really. But like I say, I wanted to redo my mother of pearl. One, because it was one of my very first videos and the quality's not that great, so I wanted to come back to that at some point, but I thought it would just be perfect to do it with Pardo. So I'm going to start stacking these, but I'm just going to be very rough with it. I don't want to be a nice tidy little stack, so I'm just ripping each colour in half and stacking, and it's random. I'm not particularly paying attention to where I'm putting the colours, but I'm just tearing each square and stacking it wherever I want to stack it, basically. And I'm actually wondering whether to leave out the pink. I'm scared it's going to be too dark. I am, because I think I put slightly too much in, so I'm actually going to leave that bit out. I'm just going to put the one piece of pink in there. And this is the thing about this: if you do mix too much colour, you can just do what I did. So that's it. It's a very rough stack. Obviously it's not going to stay that way. But I just found the rougher you stack it, the nicer the effect, because let's face it, it's a mother of pearl shell, and they do have some interesting patterns in them. I'm hoping this is going to stay on the more subtle side of patterning, but we'll see. If it comes out darker than I would like, then obviously the solution for that would be to add less colour, but I'm hoping I've got it right, like I did when I tried it the other day. Apart from the pink, I've got a feeling I added a little bit too much, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to panic. Anyway, so just, get your very rough stack and just play with it a little bit. Make sure it's all nicely stuck together. Whoops. And it's fine just to kind of dip your fingers in it a little bit as well. Again, that's going to add to the pattern. And I'm going to just start rolling it a little bit as well. So you can see, Pardo isn't as bad as you might think. Does it take longer to condition? Yes, it does. I'm not going to lie. But I tell you what, guys, I love the feel of it when it's been baked. It's just got a different feel, and I can't explain it. So I've rolled it out, and now I've cut it in half, and I'm just going to stack those two pieces together. Like so. Again, give it another little mush, another little squeeze, Another little press. And another roll. So, just doing that. Excuse me, guys. And I'm going to cut it again in half and restack again. If I was to be doing this with Cernit, it would be a lot more squidgy, I guess, because that stuff is mega soft. But this, you can still work with it. You can see it rolls out pretty easily. I'm going to roll it one more time and stack it one more time, and then we'll go on to the next step. So cut and stack 3 times in total, and then you can see that the colours are getting a lot more muted now as you keep on playing with it and rolling it out. So now we need to make an impression in this clay. So essentially it's a Miku Megane, but it's a Miku Megane to give the oyster look that I'm after. So I'm just going to keep rolling this out a little bit more because I don't want it to be an overly thick stack, because of what I'm going to use to impress it with. So maybe just a little bit more, and I'll just quickly measure that so I can give you a rough idea what the measurement is, because a lot of people do ask me. I don't really tend to it's 1 centimetre thick, I think. I'm really bad at looking at rulers and things. It's 3 it's close to 1 centimetre, you know, give or take about 1 centimetre, guys, that's fine. Okay, so one last roll then, just to make sure it's stuck to the surface, and then I'm going to get something to stick in the clay. I'm trying to think what I used yesterday, because that seemed to work really well, and of course I put it away and I can't remember what it was. Okay, I'm just going to use this, that's fine. So anything that, you know, I'm just using this silicone brush thing, or a paintbrush, something that's pretty sturdy, because you've got to really push it into the clay. I mean, this isn't that sturdy, so it might break on me, but we'll see. Alright, so you've got your little stack, you've got your stack ready, and you're just going to take whatever it is that you're going to push into the clay, and you've really got to get it in there. And I like to give it a bit of a wobble, because you're distorting those colours as you're doing that. And I'm just going straight across on some areas, but in other areas I'm only going to go partially the way across, and I'm going to be wiggling it in and kind of dragging it like this. So you can see I'm going fairly deep. I'm just going to drag that as well, and then I'm sticking that in there, and I'm just kind of wiggling it and dragging it. You really want to get that clay, the colours distorted a little bit. You could probably find something better than a cheap silicone brush to do it with, but that's all you're doing. So you're going to do that all over the stack, and you can go in different directions. You don't always have to go, you know, the same direction, although I am mainly going to go this way with just a few going in the opposite direction. Okay, I'll just put a little bit there, and what this is doing is hopefully creating those like ripply patterns that you see in an oyster mother of pearl. I'll put a few more little bits in here. Alright, so I'm just going to keep doing that, and then I'm going to come back and we'll go on to the next step. I've finished putting impressions in this, so now all you need to do is kind of mush it back into a square, and this does take a little bit of effort, guys, because it's quite a big hunk of clay. But I'll just show you, that's all I've done, is I've just done patterns like that in it. But now we need to get it back together in a block. So this does take some working because it's a big hunk of block, a big hunk of clay. I know this might be a little bit of a long-winded video, and I know some people get bored by it. Like somebody told me yesterday that my video, a particular video anyway, was boring. Okay, that's your opinion. Don't care. But apparently I need to take her advice because it was boring. Well, the video's already done, so there's not much I can do about that. So, and I can't remember her name. So, but you know, I just keep getting these nasty little comments. And it does make me self-conscious, guys. I'll be honest, it makes me very conscious. But do you know what? This is me. This is what I do. This is how I do what I do. I do take into consideration that there's different levels of learners out there. I was a teacher, so I do kind of understand different learning styles and things like that. But I'm not in a real classroom. I'm online. It's virtual. I'm having thousands of people watching. I don't know what your learning style is. So, you know, if you're more advanced at clay, then the finer details, like me explaining something that you already know, sorry, there's plenty of people that don't know. So I need to try and include everybody. If you find it boring, then unfortunately there's nothing I can do about it. Your boredom is subjective anyway. Just don't watch then. It's as simple as that. I don't have another solution for you. I like to have a little bit of a rant when I'm squishing my clay together. Take it out on the clay. Oh dear. Alright, so when you've got it back into a square, and gosh, this is quite a hunk of clay there, I'm just going to give it a little roll just to close some of those lines back up a little bit. Okay, so there is the hunk of clay. And I'm a little bit nervous because I'm scared that I didn't do the colours light enough. But either way, it'll look pretty. And if it doesn't look like oyster, mother of pearl, then we'll, hey ho. Okay. Right, I'm trying to think whether I did another little tweak in this, or even if it was worth doing, to be honest. I'll do it just because I did it yesterday. I just got my pokey tool, and I need to work out which way to do it though. And I just kind of pushed it in, and just, it doesn't even have to go all the way through. I mean, this is a thick stack, but it's just to give another little bit of added interest, just to distort those colours in there. And I'm just literally just dragging it through, guys, and not even necessarily in a straight line. Just a few. And that's all I did really. Whether it made a difference, I'm not entirely sure. So we'll see. But of course now we've got to push it all back together again, which is extra arm work. So, you know, looking at this block, a block of Pardo, is it as soft as Primo? No. Is it as soft as Cernit? Absolutely, definitely not. Is it soft? Yes, you can work with it. And this is supposed to be one of the strongest clays. Primo's a good, sturdy, all-purpose clay in my opinion. Cernit is a pretty decently strong clay. For beginners out there, please don't use Sculpey 3. It is a weak, brittle clay. That's the general consensus among most polymer clay artists. Sculpey 3 is a no-no, unless it's for something like a sculpture, so like a thick piece that isn't going to break. But for jewellery, no. You might be able to get away with it if you were to do like solid beads or something. So thick, things that aren't going to just break, yes. But pendants and things, no, definitely not. But Pardo is excellent for jewellery, hence they had the jewellery line. And it's also excellent for canes because of how, nice and firm it is. It keeps its structure. Right, I've messed around with this for long enough, although it's bugging me that there's still some of those lines there, so I am just going to try and close those back up a little bit. Right. I'm going to take fairly thick, actually that seems a bit big, I'm going to try and condense it a little more. I know this is long-winded, you can always fast forward this bit, guys. There we go. Right, I'm going to take a fairly thick chunk. I'm so scared. Okay, that's okay. I think it might be okay. Now this is where I differ in how I did this compared to the one that I originally did. Okay. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these slices. I'm not leaving it like that. You can see the pattern and there's quite a lot of swirlies in it. Now to me that looks more like abalone mother of pearl. You can keep it that way if you want to, if that's the look that you want. I'm not going to. I'm going to pass it through my pasta machine on the thickest setting, going one way. So I went that way, now I'm going to go this way. I'm going to take it down to number 1. Okay, so I've stretched that pattern out a little bit. Let me try another piece. And I'm actually going to cut this in half, guys. I've cut them a bit thick, if I can. I don't want to waste the clay. Yeah. Not quite, but that's good enough. Right, 0 setting, one way, 1 the other way. And I'm even going to take this one down to a 2. So there's them. Now the other thing you could do, and this is what I did last time, is take thin slices like this, whoops, and piece them together on a piece of translucent backing, and that gives you more of an abalone look as well. So you can do that. I'm just showing you just because you can do that. I'm not doing that today, but just wanted to quickly point that out, which is what I did in my original. Okay, so you can do that. Take this piece, I'm just going to roll it a little thinner. I'm going to pass it through one way. And pass it through another. You see, to me this piece looks more like what I'm going for. I'm not quite sure why it didn't do the same thing. But there you go, that's what happens every time I make it. Okay. Right, final piece then. I'm just going to give it a quick roll. I'll take it through one way and see how it looks. I'm going to keep that as that, so that's just rolled out one way on a number one. So depending on how you roll it, where you cut it, it's going to look a little bit different. And I can't explain why, quite honestly. You think it would be the same all the way through, but it isn't. Right, so, okay, I've got my pieces. Oh, I missed this bit. Again, that looks more like abalone. Let's go with my favourite piece, which is this. And I'm just going to cut it out, quite simply cut it out. I'm not going to do anything else to it. Where did my block go? Oops. Might be able to get another piece out of that before I just toss it to one side, because the other thing I was going to do is show you what you can do with the leftovers of this so nothing goes to waste. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, guys. I'm just going to cut a few more shapes out. Oops. So there's a heart. And the colours are very muted, which is what I wanted. The pattern hasn't come out as well as I would have liked, I'm going to be honest with you. It kind of baffles me as well. Again, I'm going to be honest with you, because I did exactly the same thing that I did yesterday and they came out really good. It's just typical that I didn't record that one, and I will show you that piece at the end. Alright, let's go with this. This is actually a really nice piece. You know what, I think I might give this a little bit of a roll, just to stretch it a little bit more. Now that is the other thing that I've noticed with Pardo. Use your blade and don't just try and lift it, because it tends to tear. It's not dry. It just tears a little bit. You just have to stick it back together and then give it another roll this way. Okay, I like that. I'm trying to think which way I want it to go. I think I'm going to go with it that way. I really like that. See, this is more what I was after. I think sometimes it's a case of just manipulating the slices as well to get what you want, and this one kind of has worked out in my favour, so I'm kind of chuffed with that one. Alright, so that's a few pieces. I'm just gonna... I'll show you that one just because the slice looks a little different compared to the others. I'm just going to put the other pieces to one side though, and I'll think of what I want to do with those later. But just for the purpose of this video, I'll just do these. Okay. I'm just going to put that in the scrap pile as well. Right. I'm thinking what shape I want to do, and I probably should do some earrings. But I don't feel like faffing around with earrings today, guys. I think I'll just do another pendant. I'll go with this heart shape. And again, all these cutters are going to be listed in the description. Oh Joy Creations, and also Debbie in Australia does a lot of the same cutters, so I will leave a link for her too. So there's that one, and there's this one that the pattern was a little kind of wider. I'm going to just do another circle like that. I'm still thinking some of the colours are a little too vibrant as well, guys. You know me, I'm just being totally honest with you. I thought I got it pretty much the same as yesterday, but if I remember, they didn't quite look quite as vibrant as that. Either way, they're going to look pretty nice. So they're all the pieces. I will give them a quick wipe down with a wet wipe just to get any blemishes off, but I'm going to go and bake those. Now, you can bake any clay actually at a temperature higher than it says on the packet, because I don't know if you know, polymer clay doesn't actually burn until it hits 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm baking my Pardo at 275. Apparently it makes for an even stronger clay. The recommended curing temperature is 248, but to me that's the curing temperature. That's the point that it cures. You can bake higher. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But people panic. Oh, you can't do that. Yes, you can. And if you go and read one of Ginger's articles, Ginger's does an article on that as well in the Blue Bottle Tree. She explains all that kind of thing. I'm just putting that out there. Right, so what I wanted to show you as well, we've got these like leftover pieces, and I'm just going to do a Chippy Choppy, but I wanted to show you because I did one and it looks so cool. But I'm just looking for some more of the translucent clay. No, that's not the one. Where did I put it? That's Mother of Pearl. That's Jade. I don't know what I did with it, guys. I'm going to go and look for it and I'll be back. Alright, I found my just threw it on the floor. Okay, I found my translucent. I'm just going to take a little hunk of it, and this is the leftover pieces from what I just showed you. I've got quite a bit of it because I just threw it all together, to be honest. I'm just giving it a rough mush together, not too much, just a quick, roll. And then obviously chippy choppy it all up. I'm going to get a different blade. Just chippy choppy it all up, guys. Chippy chop, chippy chop. And I'm just being pretty rough about it, and I'm not even too bothered about cutting them into small pieces at this point in time. And then I am going to throw in some of the translucent as well, the Pardo translucent. And you can see how nice it just cuts through. And I haven't preconditioned it either. I've done this straight from the block. So I just want to show you that it's not that difficult to condition, especially when you cut it into small pieces like this. Obviously it's going to get conditioned once we start working with this and forming it into a block and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Now guys, if this is too long for you, then I don't even know why I'm apologising. Actually, forget it. No, I'm sorry, not sorry. This is the length of the video. I'm standing up for myself, guys. Right, so chop it all together and mix in some extra of the translucent. Obviously there's translucent in these pieces as well, but I just want nice chunks of translucent clay in there. And then what I'm going to do is get that pearl mica powder that I showed you, the Stardust Micas range. They're so pretty. They're extra sparkly as well, and I'm just going to dump some of that on there. Maybe just a little bit more. I think that might be good. No, I'm just going to throw another little bit in, just because. And then what I'm going to do is get some silver metal leaf and just sprinkle some of that in as well. And that's really it. It's just a very simple chippy choppy. I just wanted to show you what a chippy choppy looks like in Pardo, because it's like, ooh, they're nice. I just really like it. And I honestly, I think I would just use Pardo just for chippy choppies. Honestly, guys, that's how much I like it. And don't forget that those colours do come in the names of stones, so it's ideal. Get those different colours like the amethyst, throw it in with some translucent, be gorgeous. I'm laughing at myself here. Be gorgeous. Right, I'm just sprinkling some metal leaf on here. I think I just spat. You might see a little bit of spit shooting across the screen. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Do you know what? It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing this tutorial at night time. It's Sunday, and I'm not going to publish this till Monday. So this is actually Sunday night, and I think I'm a little bit tired. Oh dear. Right. And then, of course, you need some liquid clay. I'm using translucent, which is preferable for something like this. I'm just going to squirt that all over. Somebody asked me, why do you put liquid translucent clay? Well, it acts like a glue. It just helps to the pieces to stick together, particularly when you've got mica powder, because mica powder resists sticking. Another reason would be, say if you were making a faux turquoise and you've got black lines, you know, the black veins that are in turquoise, you can use black liquid clay to do the same thing that I've done now to create those black veins. Translucent, you're not going to see anything because it's translucent, but if you were to use a colour, you would see those veins in that colour. That's why I use liquid clay in my pieces. And if you were to watch videos where people do chippy choppy, most people do add the liquid clay. It's to act like a glue to hold the pieces together. I didn't even cut it up anymore, did I? I just went and put all that in there. Do I want to cut it up? Oh, I'm never doing a video at this time of night again. Yeah, before you put the liquid clay on, if you think the pieces need cutting a little bit more, then do so. I forgot. Oh dear. Right, that'll do. I'm just going to push it all together, form a block. I'm wondering if I need a little bit more clay, because that mica powder that I used, I don't know what it is. I don't know, you tend to need more liquid clay with it for some reason. I'm not very scientific, you guys, so I know what works and what doesn't, but I don't necessarily know how or why. I just know it does, or it doesn't, depending. Right. Somebody in my group brought up the fact that I wrote a little rap a year ago called the Chippy Choppy rap, And a lot of people are asking me to do it on a video one day. I don't know if I can, guys. I sound like an idiot rapping. I might do. If you want to hear me do the Chippy Choppy rap, say yes to the chip or yes to the chop, whichever. Yeah, it's just say yes to the chop. If you say that, if I get a lot of yeses, I'll do it. But it's probably going to sound ridiculous. I'm not a rapper. Oh dear. Right, when you've got your hands significantly sticky and messy, you just need to push all this together. You know the score with this. Unless you're a beginner and you've never seen somebody do this, but for the most part I think my viewers know what a chippy choppy is. I just wanted to see it, to show you it in Pardo, because honestly guys, I just really like it. The translucent Pardo is just, in my opinion, from all the clays that I've used, is the best translucency. It's a nice strong clay. Then on the other hand, sometimes it's nice to use primo translucent in faux stones, just because it does cast a little bit of a yellowy glow, which can sometimes add to the look of the stone. So, you know, it's whatever you want, but the translucency in Pardo is something else. So I'm just going to keep on pushing this together, and this is where it's all getting conditioned, so you don't have to worry about pre-conditioning those little chopped up pieces. I never have, and I probably never will. It's not necessary, so why, you know, waste time doing it if you don't have to? That's my motto. Right, so when you're happy it's all stuck together, I'm just going to take some slices. I'm not going to show you a load of pendants, but I'll show you. I'm just going to take off that butt, as I call it, and then I'm going to take a decent size, because I don't want to put it on any backing clay. I want it thick enough just so I can roll out as is, and that's the pendant. So I'll just show you that one once I've cleaned my sticky hands away. Not away. Clean my sticky hands off. Although you should never end a sentence in a preposition. Actually, there's exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, don't end a sentence in a preposition. Oh my gosh. Guys, I need help. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm giddy. Right, roller. And I'm just going to literally roll this out. And those colours, I just love those colours because they're just so delicate. And then you can also see those nice big chunks of translucent in there as well. Oh, this is going to look so nice. So yeah, it's a long video, but it's a 2-for-1. You could even say a 3-for-1, depending on how these are going to come out. Either way, they're mother of pearl. Whether it's the oyster or the abalone, they're still mother of pearl. Right. Oh no, I need to just make sure they're they're level. So I'm just getting my little measuring thickness rods, whatever they're called. Again, these are in Oh Joy Creations, and I'm just going to make sure that this is pretty level. I don't want to put it through the pasta machine. So these are the 3mm thicknesses. You can also get them in 2mm and 2.5mm. Right, like I say, I'm only going to do one pendant, and I'm going to do a cross, I think. No, I'm not going to do a cross. I probably will do a cross, but for this part, the video, I'm not. I'm going to do this nice stone shape. One of my custom made clay boutique stone shapes. Anything you see me use will be in the As Seen on Clay Boutique in O'Joy's shop. So rather than just searching it, you know, generically, you can find it straight in that section. So there's that, and I tell you guys, that's going to look so gorgeous when it's baked. Just going to give it a quick wipe with some rubbing alcohol, just to tidy it up and get any dirty bits off it. Alright, so a 3 foot, a 2 foot, or possibly 3 foot one. Some mother of pearl. Could be abalone, it could be the oyster one, we'll see. And then a chippy choppy chucked in, just because. Alright guys, so I'm going to go and bake these. I'm going to go and bake them for an hour, and I'll be back.